Hello, let's have a daily analysis of gold. Today is January 24th, 2026, and according to the same analysis we discussed in the previous video, gold made another upward move, and you could say completed the last leg for us. In other words, gold moved exactly as we expected. If we want to use any method, if we analyze gold today using any method, we can conclude that gold is about to start a downward move soon, and I will explain the reasons for this in this video. So let's start from the daily time frame. What does the daily time frame show us? First of all, if we want to analyze based on price resistance levels, the price of gold has closed at $4,988, which we can say is very close to $5,000. In other words, there's only about $10 to $12 left until the price reaches $5,000, which is a very, very strong resistance for this market. But if we want to analyze this using different methods, for example, if we start with the Fibonacci method, using the same previous high and low of our movement, we see that we are close to the 227% Fibonacci level. And if we manage to break through this, we can expect much, much higher prices for gold, which of course isn't out of the question. But what I personally have in mind right now is to gradually start placing sell orders on gold. Now, we have to wait and see what happens when the market opens on Monday, but if we want to analyze this direction from a Fibonacci perspective, or if we want to look at it in terms of movement legs, if we consider the length of the leg, now, we have to wait and see what happens when the market opens on Monday, but if we want to analyze this from a Fibonacci perspective, or if we want to look at it in terms of movement legs, if we consider the length of the leg, we can see that right here we have completed one movement leg, and it can be said that our second leg is also almost complete and has reached its target. We can consider this as one movement leg and this as the second movement leg. Roughly speaking, if we want to look at it in a specific time frame, for example, if we analyze it on the weekly chart, we can identify two legs here. This is one movement leg, and we can bring exactly the same as another movement leg. If we want to analyze anything from a geopolitical perspective, whether it's wars or peace agreements that are going to happen, no matter how we look at it, we see that gold on the weekly chart has closed at a very, very important price, close to $5,000. And even if we want to project this further, there should be a price correction. Now, that price correction could mean lower prices. What exactly do you think will happen to the global market when trading finally starts on Monday? But what I personally have in mind is that we will likely see a significant price correction or perhaps a noticeable downward drop in the value of gold. We are currently in a very, very strange, highly unusual, and unprecedented place in the long history of gold prices, and we simply have to wait and see what will happen in the coming days.